Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 123 of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's about Sonic news, movie news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me here to do a video game movie review is Devin.
Y'all, the game's lit, man.
I remember that line. We watched and I actually should open up this file here. We watched the 2005 film Doom. Starring Carl Urban, which I did not realize was in this movie until I saw him and being like, wait a second.
Friend of the show. Friend of Chronicles of Diesel show, because he's in the Chronicles of Riddick series.
Absolutely. He was also in Thor Ragnarok and
right.
a bunch of Star Trek stuff. Yeah, no, I saw him at first, and it sucks because my first thought was like, wait a second. Is that the guy from Fast and Furious 1 and 5 who dies in 5? But it was like the punk guy that hated Paul Walker. You know what I mean? And then Vin Diesel tells him to go walk it off. I saw Carl Urban at first, and I'm like, oh, that's him. It's that guy? No, it's Carl Urban.
No, it's not. Different human being.
Yeah. This film made in the box office a little bit under $56 million and sits at a cool 104 minutes. This 2005 film was smack dab in when people were still playing Doom games before they all died, I believe. When did Doom
They all died?
3?
Like the people died or the game died?
The game died. Doom 3.
The way that was worded made it that the people all died. All people old enough to remember the first one all died.
Doom 3 was a year old at that point.
Okay.
So, and like that's not even talking about like the BFG edition that fixed a lot of stuff. Like Doom was still happening. There was Final Doom on PlayStation and Doom 64 on Nintendo 64, and obviously that level making scene never died. When people talk like, "Oh, I'm going to play, like classic Doom stuff," they're really talking about all the awesome like games people made essentially using Doom 2. And just the levels you can make in that and stuff, you know what I mean? So Doom was still a thing. And obviously, we know after Doom 3, they kind of toiled away making a fourth one that was also very story-heavy, like 3 was starting to lead to be, and then they got canceled, and then the reboot in 2016. So, but before it died, this movie came out in what I would say is the closest it would ever have gotten to the hype factor of the 90s when... Fox News was talking about how it's killing teachers in schools and, just the idea of, I can get the whole game for free or whatever, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our personal experiences before. And I need to apologize. On a previous episode, I'm not sure what, could have even been Chronicles of Diesel, I claimed I saw a little bit of this movie where Vin Diesel, Jesus, The Rock is on a plane and someone says fuck, and my mom turned the channel or whatever. I didn't see a single scene in this movie that reminded me of that, and I'm pretty sure there was a woman on the plane, so I don't think it was this movie. But at the same time, I remember Doom being on, and then we didn't watch it, if that makes sense. So maybe I just combined two memories. Maybe my brain is making up a memory using stuff I think happened, right? Because that's how the brain works. So I apologize for that. I never saw any bit of this movie, apparently. What about you?
Yeah, I've never seen this movie. I've always heard of it. And I think originally when I was looking for this movie to watch, like when we were reviewing this, when I was looking on all the platforms, I swear it was on Netflix for the longest time, and I had it on our list. But it was no longer on Netflix, but luckily it was on HBO Max. I do not remember seeing this movie. If I did, it probably blended in with all the other Sci-Fi Channel movies that are just like this. Because that's what the vibe I got from this movie completely. It was just like, wow, this reminds me of all the Sci-Fi Channel movies I used to just watch on Wednesday nights or whatever, and they have their premiere movie or whatever, and it was just a budget of $10 million, and
right,
it was just Pumpkinhead 8 or whatever
they had 8 camera.
Yeah. But I've never seen this movie.
Yeah,
at least in my memory. And in terms of the games, never played a Doom game.
Okay,
I've seen people play it. I've played some Doom like games, definitely influenced by Doom. Not that many either. It always seemed cool. Maybe one day I'll play one, but Just hasn't happened yet.
Gotcha. For me, I have played the original Doom almost to completion. And when I say almost to completion, I mean so Doom, the original Doom has 3 acts to it, 3 like sections or whatever. First 2 take place on the base on Mars, then the last one's in Hell. But then like they released, I don't know how much later, a 4th chapter, 4th section. And it's just, all right, you mastered this game already, right? So here you go. Like I couldn't get any past further on there. So I beaten Doom, so to speak, I guess if you want to call it, but technically not. And then I have played through the 2016 reboot, which was excellent. Both games are very similar, I guess, in the story it's trying to say, but I think their current canon is that all the games have happened, and it's none of them are reboots or whatever. But there is no story, really. It's just there's a space station on Mars. They open a portal to Hell. They can't close it. There's demons. You gotta kill them. Your guy wants to kill them. So that's what I've played. I enjoyed both of them very, very much. But I haven't played Doom 2. Never played the ones on PlayStation or N64. Didn't play Doom 3. I own Doom 3 VR on PS4. I think it's the full thing in VR. Oh, and I did play the Doom VFR game, which I'm pretty sure stands for virtual fucking reality. That is basically just...
Is that what BFG... I always thought BFG stood for big fucking guns or gun.
It does. Big fucking gun. Yeah, and it's just... We'll talk about like its implementation in the movie. It's a little different. But the idea is like they all kind of look different in each of the games. I did play like the Doom VFR, but that was just here's Doom 2016's locations and like arena type of stuff. It wasn't all interesting.
You didn't play Doom Eternal?
I did not. And here's the thing, and I think I've talked about this on this channel on this podcast before somewhere. When some franchises, when they come back, it's like, oh wow, that's really cool. That's neat. It's awesome. Like that happened to Deus Ex when they made a sequel to Deus Ex, or I guess it was a prequel in like 2010, 2011 on PS3 and 360. Awesome, cool. No one showed up for the sequel because Deus Ex is back again. You know, shortly after the first time it came back, isn't as interesting anymore. And that's what happened to Doom. I saw that, I'm like, oh, looks like it's more of the 2016 one, but they kind of maybe tweaked the flow a bit, so you're always have something to do. That's cool. Never touched it. And it did not sell very well. And it is sad, but like not everything is, you know, Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed. It's cool to be like, we'll put Doom away and bring it back. And then you guarantee Doom is back will always sell well. Because everyone remembers how awesome Doom is. You know what I mean? It's just a name. But like if Doom is every year or every other year, it kind of almost ceases to become a name. Because it's just like, oh, it's all the time. So, I don't know. That's just me. But we watched this movie, released in 2005, and, you know, I feel like even though you haven't played any of the games, you still know enough about the feel.
Rip and tear.
Exactly, which comes from a comic book.
Move as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because if you stop moving, you will get fucked. The games are generally much more difficult, I think, than... maybe just on the surface from when you see. I think, like I said, I haven't played them, but like from what I've seen in these games, see people playing that actually on these games can be very challenging.
They can be,
especially if you're getting, you know, put into a corner or whatnot.
Yeah, you always got to have an exit strategy to whatever you're doing. It's always keep moving. You know, the original Doom and Doom 2 were from an era where you know, you looked left and right with keys on a keyboard. There was no up and down. So an enemy that's flying above you, if you just shot, he just shot up. It didn't even show him shooting up. He shot and it hit it.
The bullet hit it. Yeah.
And it's not even, there's no bullet time. It's just, you know, hit scan, which is what Counter-Strike does. The frame you action fire, it calculates if it hits or not. There is no like time between. It's just, did it work or not type of stuff, which is generally how a bullet would work in real life 99% of the time in any form of close range encounter, right? But yeah, Doom is very challenging, and why haven't they called a game called
or have a Doom game called Doomed.
Doomed? Yeah. See, now here's the thing. Doomed sounds a lot more like a good title for this movie, which is a horror movie about one-off encounters with an enemy, and not
Or
Doom,
two. Yeah.
which starts with a whole bunch of demons coming at you. I wanted to look this up to make a point, and I failed. So I guess imagine I did, and imagine I have the number. Doom opens up right away with you choosing difficulty, and then you play. And there's a demon right in front of you. This movie takes 40 minutes to show a demon. They don't even call them demons, but that's not the point, I guess. It takes 40 minutes for Doom
A monster.
to start.
A creature.
This is a Resident Evil movie. There is again.
No, this is
Resident Evil in space.
This is a sci-fi original, alien-inspired movie without the direction and the payoff.
Yeah,
because or Jaws even, like, you know, it's so hard to execute those movies. There's been plenty of horror movies throughout the years. A lot of slasher films take inspiration from the Jaws, the Alien, the mid to early 70s films where they don't show the creature very often, and when they do, you know, it's a monstrosity or it kills a lot of people, or they save it for the finale. Like, everyone knows what a shark looks like, but Jaws, it's a bigger shark.
You didn't see the shark forever.
Yeah,
for a point.
And some of that reason too is for budget reasons. That's part of the recipe. But so many movies have tried to implement that throughout the years and failed because they're just either the monster being revealed isn't as cool, or it just feels like you've seen it before. Yeah. I feel like I've seen all this stuff in this movie before. Yeah. An Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien 4 Resurrection, or whatever the title is, and Predator, and Jaws, and a lot of other movies, and it just isn't. This doesn't hit you as hard, and I think because of both a budget and just a direction that the film has, and the pacing that the film has. But yeah, you're right. Until the first 40 minutes, I think you have a zombie.
But here's the thing: I don't
but
think
that's
none of them
not
are
as
actually
like
shown.
There's like a scientist who's like,
I don't know what's going on. I ripped my ear off. Like, great. Where are the demons? I didn't even call them demons. Like, this is, honest to God, a Resident Evil movie. There is a laboratory, scientific research area that has more money than the government's, or essentially is in more power than the government's, biomutating people for science, and they have a super bioweapon that they can turn into people. It's the T virus. Just their idea is not to make zombies. They're looking to make the strong people. You know what I mean? The superhumans.
It's not even genes. It's an extra chromosome, right, which is like insane.
Weird to me. I don't know how that would work. Like, you're like, how many, like, you're completely refreshed in your cells, like, once every 2 weeks or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that's how it maybe would work. You know what I mean? Your new cells would.
I imagine you text me being like, yo, I got my chromosome surgery this weekend. It'll take 2 weeks. But in 2 weeks, boy, I'm gonna be able to lift a car up with my pinky. It's gonna be great.
My stomach's gonna be stronger than my hands at first. You know. But no, this is a Resident Evil movie. I don't know if I necessarily say it's better that being a Resident Evil movie than the Resident Evil movies at this time frame. I don't want to make that judgment call.
I was going to remember how many Resident Evil movies we got at this point.
It's been like probably 3.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 3.
2, 3.
Like 2001, 2003. Maybe this is going against the third one, but this is not a movie where a guy angrily kills a whole bunch of demons. Like, they should be afraid of him. And in the Doom 2016 game, like, you can like find lore things to read or whatever. They are afraid of him. They took a page out of Metroid Prime where all of the data logs or whatever, you can find all the the messages left behind by the guys you're killing. They're all afraid of you. They call you by a name. In Doom 2016, you're the Doom Slayer. That's what they refer to you as. The demons. You know what I mean? That's awesome. because the game is about you're angry. He's not super strong, I don't think. He's just angry, and he wants to kill them all. That's it. That's all you need. And I get it. John Carmack, who is obviously, there's a character named after him, and not John Romero, who had left the company. John Carmack is the weirdo that Bethesda basically sued him because he took all their Oculus information and made Oculus when that was a ZeniMax Bethesda thing. He's now good. John Romero's the cool one with the long hair that tried to make Daikatana, but inadvertently his company made Deus Ex, which is one of the greatest games of all time. So he's cool, right? The bad John gets name dropped in this movie, not the good John, because the bad John was still at the company and could say, no, I want my name in there. But like, imagine if this movie, and I want to talk about what the movie actually is, don't get me wrong, but imagine if this movie was the section toward the end where it's all in first person, whether or not it's in first person or not, but it's like mostly that. Imagine if all the action was that quality stuff. That's the kind of movie I would want to see from Doom. And I get 2005, they're probably thinking if we made a movie that's all first person or all just a guy angrily killing demons, well, we don't demons from hell, that's not going to fly. We need to make them mutants, whatever their reasoning is. It's a different time than now where they couldn't make this movie.
They should have made him terrorists.
Exactly.
Doomslayer, after your successful mission on Mars, we're sending you to Afghanistan.
Exactly. Exactly. I think people just called him the Doom guy at that point in time. I don't even know if the games even call him anything at all. But nowadays you could make a Doom movie where it's all completely first person. There was that weird movie that was all completely first person. I don't think it did very well, but they could do that now with Doom, and I think it would be generally well received. 2005, I don't think it would have been. I think people would have made fun of it for not being a movie. People would have made fun of it. So I get that they couldn't, in their minds, do that. But what they made is just so different. And I've never heard anything good about this movie.
They really didn't.
This rocks in this movie. I've never heard anything good about this movie.
It just didn't feel like it was close to the source material that I was thinking. It's very dark, too. Like I said, that's where I got the Alien inspiration, where it's like, we're going to make everything dark. You can't see. You don't know what's in every shadow. We're going to add that. Make it, intense, but there's no intensity because the monster is just, we don't see it until 40 minutes. It doesn't actually even kill anybody until, I think, 30 minutes in.
Right.
At least, none of the main cast to make you, none of the jarheads or whatever. Who?
Oh my god! What a classic group of horror. It's just,
but even worse than that, though. They're not even
they're not even they're tropes.
Yeah, but they're not even the Marines that in Aliens or even in Predator, where there's some redeeming qualities in them, or you find them funny. None of them are funny. None of them. One of them is literally, I think, a pedophile or something to that, a sex offender of some sort. And I'm like, great, I'm supposed to be
the one random scene where he's saying, I need to strip search you, and then immediately looks at a hotter woman and says the same line, what's our reaction supposed to be? But I get it,
he also says she-boys at one point.
I couldn't tell if that's what I heard.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Well, hey, he
also
knows what he wants
transphobic.
then. I guess.
But
the
only cool guy I think was the guy who didn't talk very much, and I think he was the one playing
Mac?
the video game.
Oh yeah. Duke. Yeah, the guy who starts off being characterized as, he's the one that hits on everyone's sister, and he starts off that way until shit starts, and that just goes away, and he just becomes just a likable guy. That's okay, you know what I mean? That's why when he dies, I'm disappointed. When anyone else dies, I'm not disappointed. And I get it, the role of I think his name was Portman.
Yeah.
The creepy weirdo guy. I get it. That's a trope formula that works. You're not supposed to like him. You're supposed to get a little bit of sympathy for him right before he dies because you're supposed to feel his fear before it happens. I get it. That's a role that the character plays in the horror movie. I get it. The new kid who's so nervous, who's so young, he doesn't know, the mission from blah, blah, blah. I get it. These are all tropes. You got the guy that's always confident, but then therefore, I get it.
And then
but
Sarge the Rock
gel.
is just like all about the mission.
And it's just
right?
that happens, just it ramps up all of a sudden. He cares so much about the mission. And like, bro, you're going to have to kill yourself. Why are you talking about getting paid for this, getting paid for that? Like, you're not getting paid because you're not going to live. You know what I mean? I don't buy that either. But what the movie is a group of guys that I can't tell if they were already on vacation or were about to go on vacation.
They're on base somewhere. Yeah, I don't know.
One room, there's a dude playing baseball with an orange. It's clearly annoying everyone that they're doing that. And yeah, The Rock gets orders that he repeats like Solid Snake to his CO on the phone. Just repeats the same line of question.
And he has a Semper Fi tattoo on his back.
God,
just so bad.
Yeah.
Just so like...
God. We'll talk about how the ending where that comes back around makes me roll my eyes. You have him, you have Carl Urban, who is all of a sudden, like, they're all going on this new mission that they're all upset about. Except Carl Urban is recommended not to go. Not an order, and he goes anyway, and I don't know why, because if Sarge is all about the mission, he wants as many guys there as possible. Why did
it's because his sister's there, and there's a chance she might be in trouble, and I think it was
why does Sarge care? He does not care.
He does in that moment. I don't know.
Any case, and then they go there, and then, like, I'm not going to lie to you, Devin, the first 40 minutes, it's just a horror movie. They're figuring out what's the deal. There's got
a lot of places they go, and I don't know if they went in circles or went to the same spot because it's so dark.
We never even get the classic sci-fi space station. Here's the layout briefly at the beginning. They did show like the different like hubs, and it kind of looked like a mini map. Passed me by,
but like it was a one-time quick thing, and they never show it again.
You got a guy. So I guess first reference, you got a guy named Pinky. Pinky is the name of a very famous and classic demon from the original Doom that is not the giant guy that walks on hind legs. It's just the giant, lesser demon or whatever he is, greater demon. It's the thing on all fours that is sometimes invisible, sometimes not, that just rushes you like a tank. And I'm watching this movie, I'm like, why the fuck did they name this guy Pinky? Are they not going to have one of the demons be Pinky? Oh, because he mutates into something kind of like what Pinky is at the end. I'm like, okay, you get a little bit of a pass, I suppose. Sure. We meet Carl Urban's sister. His name is, I was going to make a joke and say their last name is Grimes, but it's just Grim.
It's Grim.
Yeah. Oh, and when the guns are all saying the code names of the person that holds it, I swear, for Carl Urban, it called him Raper. And I'm like, hold on a second. Is his code name, he's the rapist? Oh, it's Reaper. Okay, the robot was just having a hard time pronouncing Reaper.
It has an accent. Accent.
I'm like, maybe it said rapier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the sword. for like 30 minutes or so, I'm like, man, this guy's name is Raper. Maybe I don't like him. I don't know. Am I supposed to like this guy?
I mean, there's one guy named Hell Knight. And you think maybe that would be like, the main guy, but nope. Sarge.
It's a fucking pickle.
They should have just called him The Rock. That honestly would have fit with the rest of their names. Portman,
The Rock,
go.
His
The Rock.
He tries. I don't feel like he hit his prime yet in his acting at this point, but you can see some of that there.
He's also. I noticed like he's still big, right? He's still
big.
But like, yeah, he's kind of slim. He's Slim Rock in this one.
Yeah,
he's still bouldering up.
He's Pebble. He's Stone. He's Agent Stone.
He's Agent Stone.
So they get there, and then they're going through all these different tunnels, and sometimes they split up, and it takes a while for them to regroup, and then other times they're just instantly back, and I can't tell who's with who because it's so dark, like you say. They're trying to gather all the scientists, gather certain key research things, and then kill everything that's bad. But they don't know what is going on, so that's just an assumptive kill everything that's bad. The scientists are all dead, or they're zombies, or whatever. His sister is research.
And they do the classic thing when like anyone who looks remotely like fucked up, like monstrously, they like bring them back to the lab. But if I'm ever in this situation, I don't think I ever will be, but if I ever was in a situation where I have to raid some sort of base where I know there's bioweapons coming on and there's anybody in there bleeding from the mouth, looking at me like they're going to eat my face, I'm popping them. Just straight up.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. I'm not even hesitating. I'll take the flack in the meeting on Sunday or whatever.
And granted, what you would do is say something like, "Are you all right? What's going on?" If you don't get a response, they're gone.
I've seen enough zombie movies. I know.
Right.
Going to a med lab.
And it takes until The Rock sees the fully formed one stuck in a wall to be like, this is irreversible. But not because it's obviously irreversible, because nothing like this is any of these movies is reversible. It's just because he wants to kill it, which obviously everyone should have done. But that's beside the point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, every time they say like these kind of movies where there's a transformation, they say it's reversible, and they're like their little their physical appearance.
Buddy,
isn't
your
even
spine's
humanoid
sticking out of
anymore.
your back. Like, if it's reversible, you're dying then. You know what I mean?
The only exception is the Hulk, but the Hulk is just a bigger man and green. Like, that's the only physical, and everything
the
is...
excuse is that
the proportions are the same.
Then, exactly. It just expands back down. The fantastical element is his pants, because no one wants to see his
it's always
dick.
like, we could fix him in the jawline of the zombie or whatever is completely backwards, or the teeth is going through his nostrils.
The hand is bending or is gone. Like, buddy, maybe that person doesn't want to come back. You ever think about that?
Dude's going to be a puddle of
not your choice.
Mush.
Exactly. But if there's magic involved, again, then I guess. But again, I can't think of a single movie, and maybe I'm cinema illiterate. You know what I mean? I haven't watched every movie. They're classics I haven't seen, so it's fair to take what I say with a grain of salt. I can't think of a single movie that has this element of zombies or monster transformations and a horror element like this, where the possibility of it changing back is not only entertained, but the solution that happens.
The only one I can think of is a werewolf, but a werewolf is even it's mostly
sure, everyone watched Teen Wolf and they're like, yeah, he's going to go back, but that's not that's part of the lore of what a werewolf is.
Yeah.
It's different than an infection that turns you into a zombie. No one watches a movie like this expecting the same group of people to walk out the way they walked in, or at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just a thing you just assume. They're all tropes, too, so it's obvious that, none of these fucks are going to live. The Rock, I just assumed The Rock was the good guy the whole time.
That's
because
the only
I thought
thing
the
I'll
other
give
guy was named Raper.
That's the only thing I'll give the movie credit for, is I feel like it was going to be him and Carl Urban or something at the end of the film, and they're just trying to save the day. Maybe The Rock sacrifices himself so him and his sister can live, right? So
Right.
I'll give the movie credit. I did not expect him to be the bad guy at the end and the guy that you need to take out.
Yeah, I will say, though, just the turn, it felt so sudden, and then they really needed to nail it home. He wants to kill all the people, so they say that. He's going to kill all the people, and then they get there. And then he says, we need to kill all the people. And one guy says, so we're going to save these people. He's like, no, we need to kill all the people. And then the kid comes back and says, I found a whole bunch of innocent, non-infected people. And he's like, did you kill all the people? It's just, we get it. You've turned. But you can leave it as a shock by the first time and have people be like, wait, are we, as they're still trepidatiously following Sarge's orders, being like, are we doing the right thing? Then you can have a little bit of whispers between guys of so what do we do? Do we take him down? And then he shows his dominance by killing the kid and be like, I will shoot all you motherfuckers. I have the BFG. You know what I mean? The other thing I will say that is good about this movie is they actually set that up. He finds out or hears about it immediately, then later goes and gets it, and then later uses it, and then later has the final standoff with Kurt. I almost called it Kurt Cobain. Carl Urban.
Could you imagine? They threw Kurt Cobain in this movie just for fun.
Yeah. So, they did that well. Now, why is it blue? Maybe it's from one of the games I didn't play, but the BFG shoots a green energy thing. It's a wall. It shoots a ball that becomes a wall.
2005.
It kills everyone.
There's a lot of movies that use the color blue. Batman Begins, this movie. It's a lot of blue tinted things. I feel like it's just the vibe of the times, you know?
I guess.
And green, green is like green energy, and we don't believe in that. It's 2005. Al Gore lost. Take an L.
Sure. Oh yeah, it's 2005. So yeah, it's right after the election. Man. So like they do more of this stuff. They get into the sewers, which is a level in one of the original Dooms. But remember, the story has changed from the very simple thing of scientists on Mars discovered or opened, whether accidentally or on purpose, I don't even remember because it doesn't matter. Scientists on Mars opened a portal to hell, and demons come in, and you close it by killing all of them or whatever, right? They changed that to there is none of the hell element. There's no demons. It's just a eugenics experiment or whatever causes mutations. There's a portal leading from Nevada to Mars, even though it's in the future anyway, and we could probably just, space
it was
rocket
like 2026 too. So what's funny is like that was a long time ago then. I'm like, man, we're creeping up on that. We don't got no portals to Mars yet.
Well, we didn't dig deep enough. This portal is underground in Nevada. How did they find it? Shut up. That elevator, they made
some
that
dude
elevator.
in Vegas got really drunk and just started digging from the side of the road, and he's like, wait a minute, man.
I'm gonna find it. Yeah. And the whole, like, there's a subplot about, like, Mars had people before Earth or something like that.
Well, they had, and I thought this was kind of cool. Like, I'm a sucker for kind of like we found the bones of, like, what you're about to see. I always think that's cool. Like, it kind of, like, leaves a little bit up still to the imagination of, like, hey, what does this creature look like? And they kind of do that with Alien, where they had, like, they go to that ship and there's, like, that skeleton. You're like, okay, is that going to be part of this in any way? And it's not really, but at least makes you think about what is this.
Then they bring it back in Prometheus, and it's the same kind of idea.
Yeah.
But more of, like, it's us or whatever.
But yeah, like, it's like kind of a humanoid thing, and they're like, oh, it's protecting the kid or whatever. So I found that kind of interesting, but, like, they just never really go back to it too much. And it's just, and the monster that they see is, like, just a mutation.
Yeah, it's just a big guy with
more eyes. But I thought,
I'm
like, okay, that's a demon skeleton, and they found it. Or maybe there was a lesser version of the demon skeleton, or demons or whatever, and the bad demons won, and now they're in hell, and they opened the portal. That's what I thought was going to happen. But yeah, there's really only like one or two monsters, and it's because the people mutated in a certain amount of time. Because they get there like when the infection first starts. They actually did like better lockdown than they did in the United States with COVID, and that was on another planet. So I'll give them credit for that.
That was on Mars, bitches. But you know what? That's in 4 years from now, so. Perhaps
it's still a possibility.
COVID already happened there, and then they actually,
learned something.
That's never going to happen. Learning, no. We ban learning in schools. It makes other kids sad. We think. Any case, right?
No. That's Doom, the video game. That's what makes them sad.
Yeah, we're gonna call this movie Doomed because that's a good survival horror movie title about Doom. Then Doom. Also, can I just give a weak shout out to the very weak way in which they revealed the title logo? Doom has an iconic logo. It's just the word Doom, and it's slanted, and it's cool. And it just weakly is followed up to some random scene I don't remember, and it's just like, it does the thing where the letters are all one way, and then they all turn, and it's just, oh, okay. And then it cuts to some other innocuous scene. It's like, cool. I don't know. There's cool things about this movie. I will say the thing that I actually did enjoy is the first-person segment, where, like, okay, so their reasoning for how he's able to be the Doom guy is because he took the 24th chromosome or whatever. I personally only have 17, so I guess I'll never
I just really like the idea of just it's instant.
Yeah.
And it just makes you, like, fast, and, like, your reaction time's pretty good.
Yeah. But, like, that was cool. If that's the reasoning,
you won't grow an extra eyeball or something like that, which is what I think would actually happen. Or get some sort of cancerous cell in you.
Or, some things that are a certain shape now have extra edges because, you know what I mean? Like, your eyeball's a cube. Who knows? Just one of them, and it doesn't turn.
One thing I didn't like about that is I thought that he would, like, go find an armor suit or something.
I kind of want him to also gun down a whole bunch. It was still kind of like, tactical peeking corners instead of like, I am the armory, I am the cover, so to speak.
But I will give him credit for this too. Is that they just randomly have a chainsaw? They don't like it's just
It
like
needs
whatever.
to
I don't
be
give a
there.
shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to be there.
Exactly.
But like,
I don't give a shit.
I don't need
whatever is Doom.
I don't need explanation.
Exactly. The fact that the chainsaw didn't instant kill the thing too is almost the disappointment. But yeah, no, it was there, and they did the first person thing for a while, longer than I feel like they were going to. But I liked it. I liked it. A little cheesy, but I liked it, and I wish they. I'm okay with them keeping it till the end, but I still wish like he went into some sort of like armor or something. Got a helmet. None of these people have helmets like the Doom guy.
Yeah,
you never
like
saw his
Doom
face. Guy. You know, I liked how they transitioned away from it too. The transitioning into is cool. You cut to him waking up. Okay, that's easy.
He looks into a mirror,
and it seemed pretty seamless. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually had a camera on a person run through all that stuff, and they CG'd out the camera for Carl Urban in the mirror because the movements were really good.
Is that Doom guy?
But exactly. But how they transitioned out of it felt so seamless and like, oh, this is almost like a video game, like an actual modern day Uncharted or something of how it transitions from angles. And shortly after that, where it is back to being a movie, they still show him with this super quick responses that you would have playing Doom. They actually show that. Now in the fight with The Rock, it's not there.
Because they're both quick.
Sure, so then it just cancels each other out. They do show that briefly of the hyper quick check the corners, like perfect. I'm going to take that back. It's not perfect. It's great. You know what I mean? I think the plastic rubber gray just strip that The Rock rolled around his hand looked extremely fake. It did not look like steel. You know what I mean? In that fight, and I thought it was really goofy to see The Rock hold just the obviously styrofoam and painted metal door thing as he's creeping.
I don't think it looked that bad, but it looked.
Yeah. But my issue with the ending fight is that you get this scene where you get this entire sequence of first person. He's gunning, and he is in the flash of I don't give a fuck anymore. My sister's life is on the line. And then when The Rock says Semper Fi and throws down his gun, Carl Urban does that too. No, fuck him. Shoot him. That's what the Doom guy would have done. You shot him. Right then and there. He would have shot him.
Yeah. Also,
so I'm disappointed
if this is supposedly the stakes are more than just his sister, though. It's like the human, like, if this gets back on Earth, we're fucked.
Right.
There's no time for, like, okay, man to man, real quick,
right.
We're going to do this. You know, like, no, it's... Bro, I'm popping you. I'm popping you in the head. I'm moving on.
You made
Especially
a play.
If you're unarmed.
You made a play for my ego and my emotions, and I say no. You know what I mean?
No one will remember this. I'll tell them that we fist fought later on if that's what makes. If I really care that much about
the sentence
my ego.
is already over. I fired the bullet. So that
no
disappoints
hesitation.
me. There was also the element where I thought the sister was going to be in the room somewhere because she's crawling around. But I guess she just gets to the escape pod or whatever. I don't know. I think it would have been really cool if like the fight was Doom guy versus other Doom guy type of stuff where they're just all so fast. You know what I mean? Like make it a John Woo movie.
That's what I was hoping that like if they were both in armor or something.
Yeah, something. Instead it was just, take
the
me
Rock
as your word.
I mean, The Rock at least had some cool like wrestling moves. That's what we're expecting.
That's my
from
thought.
Him.
Was this
But
kind of looks like
that.
wrestling? Yeah, 2005, absolutely. Oh boy, but yeah, we end the movie.
One other disappointment is The Rock did not say, "Show me the damn veggies." At least he didn't say it even once in this movie.
Sure, yeah, that's his new catchphrase from the 6th Fast and Furious movie. Or no, that's the 5th one. No, where he says "woman" a lot is in the 6th one. We also laughed at. Yeah, I remember the scene obviously because I made our beautiful and lovely album art for our movie review episodes. The scene that I pulled for the thing of they were all standing in a row. I'm like, oh, I don't remember seeing Carl Urban in
that was
this
a
lineup.
cool shot, though. That was a cool shot. When like they're waiting for the helicopter and they all stand there like in a nice action pose. I like that shit. Like I know James Gunn always does that with all his movies, pretty much with all his characters, and then every time it's cheesy, but I dig it though. Like I'm like, yes, just embrace that this is a movie. It's supposed to be fun. here's your heroes or whatever.
You know what I think of whenever I see that in movies, in this one?
Mm-hmm.
Geese flying in a V.
You think of geese?
I think of like, man, this guy's there because he has less wind resistance. That's why he's standing there.
No, that's what I'm going to think of. Now you just ruined that for me.
They lined up like geese in this movie. The guns seemed cool. Overall, the BFG looked cool. It's a gun that changes. It's a different shape every time.
Yeah, I want one IRL. Like, I'd take one of those.
I want to know who got to take home the prop. You know,
I feel like they throw that shit away. That's what it's, because I remember like
it's property of the production company.
Yeah, and I
you
feel like
can't
they
just take something. But since
they put that in a vault somewhere and and it rots, and then I think the rule should be free reign. As soon as the movie's over, do whatever the fuck you want.
That's what I think, because it usually just gets thrown away. There's that, like, yeah, you shouldn't take anything, but, like, no one's going to get upset. So just, you know, don't really advertise that you're doing it. You know, you and I both follow a true visionary of our time on Twitter named @Drill. And
Yes.
he must live in, like, LA or something. I don't know. Because they put a flyer under his door that is... do you have movie prop memorabilia? We'll buy it from you. And they show like Indiana Jones's hat and like something else. I'm like, okay, you're not getting the person that owns Indiana Jones's hat. You know what I mean?
No one's letting that shit go. Are you kidding me?
Although there probably was a bunch of them.
But like, still, like, if I had one of the 10 Indiana Jones hats, that'd be. We did a whole episode like 2.5 years ago. Where, like, what
memorabilia
that we would want, and I'm like, I think Indiana Jones is up there with. Yeah,
we talked about Jaws. You know how the shark is just falling apart, but a guy has most of it. You know? I have most of the shark. Someone actually made it out of Lego recently, but it was not full size, but still bigger than a person. Yeah, it's like
so
someone take home the BFG. I kind of liked the credits, but I kind of got annoyed with them after a while. I'm like, you're just shooting the people's names as if they're the guys, but maybe that just highlighted to me.
Remember that? I don't even remember.
I watched it today. You watched it a few days ago. Credits is just more of that first person sequence, but they're shooting the cast and crew's names as if they are the mutants crawling around on the walls or whatever. But that just reminded me, like, oh, this is more of a single shot horror movie than like I will gun down everyone, then refill my ammo, and then gun down more people. I liked the reload animation they did in first person at the beginning. I thought that was cool. Maybe it's just because, I don't know, deep down, part of me just wants to see a Doom movie that's all first person and them killing, and then they somehow make a story into that.
Well, you can have moments where, like, you know, they're standing still and, like, conversations are happening. You know what I mean? Like, and there's been movies that have tried this, and maybe, like, Doom could, if they ever make another Doom movie. I know there's a Doom Annihilation or something, I think it's called.
We have something on our list. Yeah.
But if they ever did, like, a remake or something and they tried that, I think you'll have to add some pauses in there because I think it could get easily nauseating. Just feel like, okay, what am I watching? Like, I'll just play like, with a movie, I feel like you have to try to tell something. You know, we've watched enough video game movies at this point that you have to try to make a video game movie that isn't just what you would see with playing the game. You have to try to adapt it in some way.
It's a different medium.
Yeah. You have to try to adapt it too for people who might not have played any of the games, or maybe just don't have the skill set to play some of the games too.
You just also want to make sure you get the feel across.
The energy.
This is the
vibe.
Exactly. And for me, again, like, I like to say game feel a lot. It feels like in our Uncharted movie review.
I thought you said game fuel.
Game feel, no. Game feel. You know, I have a very visceral, tactical memory of the shitty pistol in Uncharted and me pop, 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 pop. I talked about that last time on the Uncharted movie review. That's game feel to me. Feel. I remember that. It feels good or bad. It feels like that. Get that across in your movie. You know what Doom has a feel of? Constantly moving. There's demons everywhere. And you shoot them. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Panic of, like, again, don't get backed into a corner. Or hope you have enough bullets and kill the thing before it gets to you. You know what I mean? Oh, we're always constantly moving. This movie did not have any of that game feel in it. But this is 2005. This is still of the era where the movies are ashamed of the games that they're based off. They want the market cash in,
Yeah.
branding thing. They don't want to have to deal with the nerdy baggage. They want to tell a serious movie
The nerdy
about
baggage.
the 24th chromosome. Like this is still definitely of the we're ashamed of what we're making, so we're gonna make something different era. But
Fucking an extra. I can't believe that's just such a weird. It's one thing to make it like they should just stuck with like it's just a disease or a virus or something, like to make it we're putting an extra chromosome into this man, this living man. Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be fucking screaming and shit. I don't like. How does that work?
Exactly. He's just in pain all the time. I would love if it's just like a gender thing of like, you know what I mean? There's the XX and XY chromosome. Well, now you have the Z chromosome. Who knows what that makes you? You know what I mean?
Sick.
Like,
That's
you're not
awesome.
Superhuman unless you consider that being a superhuman.
You have maybe multiple genitals. You have all the genitals.
They made a new one.
Or a new one. And that's
Exactly.
cool. Yeah, that sounds dope.
And it's up. It's somewhere
And
up.
it's more pleasurable than any other of the genitals combined.
But since you can't really, tactilely write down that information, you'll never know. Men and women go back and forth. And the Z. The Zoomers probably don't like this movie because it doesn't have any Among Us references in the space station.
I hope we get an Among Us movie, by the way. We deserve an Among Us movie.
It'll never be what I feel like it deserves, a live action, awful on purpose, like postmodern almost, but not actually there thing. Instead, it's going to be like the Angry Birds movie.
It's going to be animated.
Which we haven't seen yet, but it's going to be like we're actually going to try to take this property and make it into a 2-hour movie,
No, I want real people. I want like human beings, and they all wear like, because in Star Trek they all have like one colored toned like outfits. I want that because like each person has a color and they wear a hat or whatever. I want that to be like people, and they all just like don't laugh about it. Like it's all like this is normal. Like I'm just not wearing any clothes, and I'm only thing I'm wearing is a top hat. Whatever.
And I have a single eyeball or a visor or whatever that is. Also, I have this giant ass hump on my back. Did they ever say what that is?
I think they had a jetpack or something. I don't know.
Well, it's a part of their body.
I don't know. But yeah, I would like that, and then like it'd be like an Alien kind of situation. Back to Alien. Like they go somewhere and like one of them's an imposter now. And they all try to vote. It's all like politics.
We're making the Among Us movie and the Doom episode.
Well, maybe we'll
hate
save
the
it.
fact that somehow this Among Us movie sounds like a better idea than the Doom movie that we watched. But
Paramount, you either have to make Doomed or Among Us. You pick.
This was Universal.
Yeah, but Paramount's our team.
Right,
Team
because
Paramount.
Sonic, I guess.
Yeah.
Man, and you have anything else you want to say about this movie? I will say, this movie wasn't terrible. This was just okay.
This, like I said, I feel like I've seen this movie. I know I haven't seen this specific one, but I feel like I've seen this type of movie so many times on the Sci-Fi Channel growing up. But it's just a different monster.
You've seen all of the parts.
Yeah. The shock of like, what is that? We'll never show it. Never mind, it's just bad CGI or a man in a suit, and it doesn't look very good. 3, how are we going to kill it? It killed everyone. Now it's just down to the girl and the guy or whatever.
We have our differences and opinions about what we should do next, and we will fight to the death for it. Yeah. What was The Rock's plan? He knows he's infected. He's just going to pretend he's not? Was that his idea?
Well, I think part of the infection was that, like, because they make a mention that the infection was only for people who are tendency to violence, and they're both, but it felt like they made a mention that like they were aware that they were infected, because that one guy literally kills himself on the window. I thought he was just being classic zombie hitting his head against the thing, but no, he was killing himself before he fully turned, I guess. So he was conscious enough to know that he was turning. But so my I guess this is something they needed to like flesh out more, I guess, is my thing was that I think he knew he was infected, but he's just being he's the disease is being selfish and just trying to have salvation in the Rock, and hoping that it would kill everybody, and then it would just do the mission and then get into back to Earth and be able to infect people, but he'll be able to get away with it because he did his job. That's
Yeah.
I think maybe that's at least how I'm trying to stretch it. But I think that it didn't really establish that well enough to know for sure.
Fair. Yeah, it's tough because like they introduce the Rock. All of a sudden, like the mission is the ultimatum. I will kill all of you people here for the mission, which is to rescue people. Let's not forget that. And you failed that, The Rock. So it's like that happened so quickly towards the end where I couple this like new Rock image with now he's also now infected. What does that mean? You know, are they still building upon this idea they just introduced, or is this now Rock Phase 3?
He has more muscles, so the infection doesn't go through him as quick.
Fair. And Carl Urban is just a pacifist that knows how to use all these weapons and is a Marine in space.
Semper Fi, bro.
Exactly. So this is a movie we watched. This was
We want to put it in our garbage can of video game movies that we've always kind
towards
of
the bottom.
It's towards the bottom.
This
Maybe
is
not the bottom,
and I say
bottom,
that
but it's
because
there.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
like the Resident Evil, like the first couple not being like the games. I'm like, yeah, it sucks, but like it's whatever. At least it's something. This I'm actually just disappointed. It is just not. They didn't try. They didn't try. They tried to make a story out of a game where one of its co-creators said stories in video games is like having story in porn. It needs to be there, but no one needs it there. That's a line. That's not verbatim, but that's what he said. Like, sure, it's weird when it's not there, but it's not why you're here. So they needed to take the game that has that infamous quote around it and make a movie about it. I get it. But you lost the game when you made the movie. So that's why I put it towards the bottom. It's not, it's not Blood Rain bad. It's not Spirits Within bad. It's not Mortal Kombat Annihilation bad. It's just disappointingly bad.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was our 29th video game movie.
Really? We've done that
29,
many?
29.
When?
Let me read off all the ones that we've done.
When did we do those? I don't again. We've been doing this for like 2 years, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
The first one was Detective Pikachu. That was episode 3.
Oh wow.
The Sonic the Hedgehog OVA was episode 11. Sonic the Hedgehog the movie was episode 21. Mortal Kombat was 35. Resident Evil was 38. Tomb Raider was 39. Spirits Within was 44. Prince of Persia was 53. Silent Hill was 55. Resident Evil Apocalypse was 60. Tomb Raider 2 was 67. Or Assassin's Creed was 66. Tomb Raider 2 was 67. Warcraft was 73. Monster Hunter was 75. That felt like that was yesterday, and that was a year ago.
Warcraft? I forgot we saw that.
Yeah. Resident Evil Extinction was 77. Mortal Kombat Annihilation was 80. Mortal Kombat 2021 was 81. Hitman was 87. Super Mario Brothers was 92. That felt like forever ago.
Yeah,
Resident Evil Afterlife was 94.
Forgot about that
Street Fighter was 97. Never forget that one.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Rain 103. Silent Hill Revelation 105.
Now we're caught up, yeah.
Advent Children 108. Welcome to Raccoon City 109. DOA 116. Persona 3 Part 1 118. Uncharted 120. Doom 122. Or 23.
So basically we have a half of a year's worth of video game movie review episodes. Half a year's worth.
This is episode 123. I think I maybe said 122 at the beginning of the show. But yeah, this is...
We're halfway there to making a full year's worth of episodes. 52 episodes.
Yeah.
One for every week.
I mean, we have on our list here of ones that are currently out, 102 films. So we're a third of the way.
If we're doing all of them, yeah, okay.
And I mean, we have no reason not to just keep going. We're not doing any of these in order.
I'm saying, World Wars.
Sure.
Yeah.
And obviously there is 4...
the Mario movie might come out and they realize we're never making a video game movie ever again.
118. There is 23 upcoming video game movies. Now, we said there's a lot of these, like the Just Dance movie and the Gears of War. Well, not Gears of War, but the Five Nights at Freddy's. None of those are actually happening. But technically, There's like 23.
Can we throw Among Us on there, even though it hasn't been said? But like,
Sure. I didn't actually do it.
I demand an Among Us movie, though. I want that to be on the upcoming list.
Tweet. What's the company that makes Among Us?
I just know their Twitter's @Among-Us.
And there you go, @Among Us. Make it the
Among
damn
Us.
movie. Yeah, do it now. Do it now while the IP is hot. You know,
Yeah.
you might as well do it. Get Annapurna, A24, whoever you need.
It's like an avant-garde, fucking super surreal.
I
sci-fi
want
Us movie.
the pitch meeting to just simply be one sentence, one artsy as fuck sentence. But what is the emotion? Why is one the imposter? And I want the whole movie to just be this weird, like you know when we saw.
So you want it from the lens of the imposter. That maybe he's right.
You know when we saw that movie, Lady Bird. I hated that movie. Hated it. I didn't get it, and I get movies. I didn't get that movie. I want to be as like what the fuck was this Among Us movie? I want it to be like that. Where I'm like, so yeah, she's an asshole the whole time, and she like maybe realizes it at the end. Sure.
You're the imposter, like you're from the point of view of the imposter.
Absolutely.
The whole time. You kill
Absolutely.
everybody, and you're like, now what? And that's the
Vote
end of the
yourself
movie.
off. That's
vote
how
yourself
it ends. I've never played this game. It's $5. PlayStation has it on sale for $4.
I've been wanting to
That's a
play it, but
sale.
no one wants to see. No one wants to play with me. No one wants to play
I'll
Among
play
Us.
with you. If it has crossplay, because whatever, I might as well get some trophies. Maybe we'll play Doom. I mean, the Doom games are all on PS4, even the originals, and there's co-op trophies. So,
Oh, there you go.
we're never doing that. But yeah, I had fun on this episode ranting about a movie that had potential and squandered it by existing in the wrong time frame.
It got voted off.
Exactly. Again, if this movie was made around now, it would be so much better because they would have felt that they could have taken
And
chances.
The Rock would have been at even like.
The Rock wouldn't need armor. The Rock also would have been the main character.
Yeah.
We're going to see you next time on the Sonic Movie Show. Remember, folks, our Twitter handle is @SonicMovieShow. It's the name of the show without the. @SonicMovieShow. @becomes the. I'm on Twitter @EthanAbsolutely. Devin is on Twitter @CursonaFun. The show is also on TikTok. No, not the show itself. We're on TikTok @SonicMovieShow.
We have some clips on there.
Yeah.
Go give some love to that.
And we're on. If you're watching on one place, and you don't like where you're watching or listening. We're on Apple and Spotify and Amazon and Audible.
I think we're
and YouTube.
literally in it everywhere. If you're
Every now and then, I find that there's more places, but like if we're not on a place you want us to be on, let me know. It's easy for us to add ourselves. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have to pay anything.
and whatever service you are on, drop a like or a comment, rating,
Honest to
whatever,
God,
whatever
I feel
the
like
fuck. Just do
Apple
something.
iTunes is the only place that does that.
Just do something. Press that follow button. I don't fucking know.
I found
Do the algorithm shit. You know how to do that.
Yeah,
We're all
do the
social media
algorithm
monsters at this point.
Absolutely. And the best way you can do that is completely listen to the episode, completely watch the video on YouTube, and then hit like, and then hit share. And then that's how you boost our algorithm.
Prove you're not an imposter.
Yeah, tweet at us @SonicMovieShow. If you have video game movies you'd like to recommend them. I listed off all the ones we've seen so far, but you could also, obviously, if you forget, scroll back.
And yes, we will watch Blood Rain 2.
Yep, that's a
For
Halloween
us.
thing. But we have a list for the rest of the year for the most part of what we're seeing. But after that, it's fair game. I know Devin and I are thinking about, instead of planning it out behind the scenes, planning it out on the show. So if anyone has ones that they're like, oh man, they gotta see In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale, 2008, $13 million.
That's a
You know
banger.
what I mean? We got to see that. You got to let us know. Otherwise, we will just decide in the manner that we decide on an episode. Sometime after episode 150, which is crazy to think of. We are about halfway there in this chunk of 50.
I feel like we just got to like 100.
Yeah.
Slow down.
We got to plan what we're doing for 150, like, legitimately soon, it feels like.
Fuck. Fuck.
These are some of my favorite episodes to do. I actually like doing these because it doesn't require thinking. You watch a movie and then you talk about it. You know? And I get to pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
I don't know
when it
if
comes to
you know
cinema.
what? That sounds like what an
films.
imposter would say.
Fuck, abort mission. All right,
Abort
we'll see you
mission.
next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Plus canceled, plus ratio.